the millennial generation. These are people born after 1980. Everybody's talking about the millennials. I'm just curious, where are the millennials in the room? People born after 1980, where are the millennials? Oh. Look at them out there. It's like a flash mob. I get to just stand up here and watch them ignore me. I know what all the millennials are thinking. She won't notice me texting as long as I maintain eye contact. Somebody from my life that's a millennial is my cousin Brendan. Brendan is a millennial. He was born after 1980. Brendan just got a tattoo. Now, I have to say, one of the things I find so exciting about the younger generation is they really have brought tattoos into the mainstream. I mean, haven't they? Because when I was a little kid, maybe this happened to some of you, but when I was a little kid, and if you went somewhere and someone with a tattoo walked in, your mother pulled you close. Because back then, only two types of people had tattoos. People that had been in the military, but most importantly, people that had just gotten out of where? Prison, Huskow. But that's not the case anymore. We don't even call them tattoos. What do we call them? Tats, ink. There's another phrase I really like. Body art. Yes, yes, body art. Because it's like these little works of art you get to take with you wherever you go. I'm too afraid to get a tattoo, but I love it when other people do it. So when I heard my cousin Brendan was getting a tattoo, I thought to myself, what's he gonna get? I mean, you get to choose whatever you want, and you better like it. I thought, will he get a dragon from the HBO show, Game of Thrones? Wow, a big dragon. Will he get a rainbow, a unicorn? The hamburger helper hand? Anything. So when I saw Brendan recently, I rushed up to him. I said, oh, Brendan, please show me your tattoo. Let me see your tattoo. He rolls up his sleeve. One word. One word he's tattooed on his arm. It reads, Brendan. Anything in the world, he tattooed his name. I looked at his mother, I said, he tattooed his name on his arm. She said he was gonna tattoo it upside down so he could read it. Okay, I have a big favor to ask everybody. Big favor. Millennials, one more time, raise your hands, millennials. Millennials, I need you to look around. I need you to find some other millennials to talk to. You might have to turn around, you might have to scooch, okay? But millennials, I need you to talk, you're gonna have to talk to each other. Here's what I need from the millennials. Here's what I need the millennials to do. Millennials, I need you to create a list of words that describe interacting and working with the older generations. So let's define older. Let's define older. Everybody else. Okay, so millennials, here's what I'd like. You're gonna give me a few positives. Okay, so a few positives about working and interacting with the older generation. But then I want to hear the non-sugar-coated list, okay? You know, that person that calls you at midnight because they still haven't figured out the Uber app, all right? Non-millennials, everybody else who's not a millennial, I'd like you to get a partner or a couple people, and you're gonna do the same thing, but you're gonna create a list that describes the younger generation. You're gonna give me a few positives, and then you're gonna give me the less sugar-coated list. You know, that person that's a thorn in your side, a burr under your saddle. Could be somebody you work with, could be somebody you live with. This is gonna go real quick. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. Please listen for me. I'll call you back and then I wanna hear what you have to say. Go. Fifteen more seconds. 15. Okay, let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you. If everybody would do me a big favor and take a look at the screen. The man was never better than right there. And do your very best back to school Saturday Night Fever imitation and point to the sky, everybody, point to the sky. And the count of 3, you point to your group spokesperson. 1, 2, 3. Okay, millennials. Millennials, yell out a few positives. What were some positives about interacting and working with the older generations? Tell me. Experienced. Yes, they have experience. What else? They've got good music. Oh, my dad would love you guys. All right, what else? They're resilient. Okay, give me one more. They're wise. I like that. All right, flip it on the other side. Stubborn. Oh, they are stubborn. What else? They're in too much debt. It's okay, the millennials are going to take care of that. What else? Paper. Paper, yes. They'll call you on the phone to tell you they're sending you an email that you should print. Want to give me one more? Analog. Technology challenge. All right, round of applause for the millennials. Round of applause. All right, the other side. What were some of the positives you have about interacting and working with millennials? Tell me. They are adaptive to change. They like change. What else? They're very emotionally? Oh, socially conscious. Yes. They'll recycle. What was it? Life balance. All right, give me one more. They're always happy? that life balance. All right? Flip side. Give me some of the negatives. Entitled. Oh. Yeah. You owe me. I want to know when I'm going to get a raise. When am I going to get a promotion? I have been working at this college for 2 weeks. All right? What else? They don't have cultural references? Did I understand that one right? Oh, they don't get your cultural references. But they love your music. All right? What else? What? Squirrel. What? Short attention span. Give me another. Technology. How many of you have something about technology? They use technology to communicate. Yes, they will stand right next to you and text you. Then they look at you and say, did you get my text? All right, good job. Round of applause. Both sides. Good job. Now, you heard in my introduction that I speak to groups about generations, multiple generations. I love this topic. I began speaking about the generations in 1998. In 1998, I began to speak about how to work with the younger generation. Because in 1998, I was the younger generation. That's not the funny part. But lately, I've been hearing a lot of brouhaha about the millennials. Everybody's talking about the millennials. So I began to ask groups like yourselves to describe this younger generation. And here's some of the words. Here's some of the positives. They're creative, tech-savvy, passionate, entrepreneurial, environmentalist, fun, challenge the status quo, excited, they embrace change. Now, on the flip side, though, people also say to me, they have bad attitudes. They're entitled. They don't want to pay their dues. Poor communication skills. Gossip, lazy, apathetic, rude, disloyal, wants reward with no effort, but my favorite one's that last one. They want to have fun. Now I have to tell you something about my list. I cheated. I know saying that to a college group is tricky. I actually got my list out of a magazine. I got my list out of Life magazine, 1968. Baby boomers. How many of you are baby boomers born between 1946 and 1964? Raise your hands, baby boomers. Baby boomers, let's review. Now all the baby boomers are looking at that list of words and they're saying, well, that's all character building stuff. That's what that is. That's all character building. How many of you are Generation X born between 1965 and 1980? Gen Xers? Oh, don't sit there so smug. In 1998, Fortune magazine called us the gold collar workers. This was not a compliment. So let me throw it back to all of you. What's my point? Nothing changes. Yeah, we use the same negative words to describe every generation as it enters the workforce, the marketplace, joins you here at Sheridan. And really what we're describing is a youthful generation. And the definition of youthful that I use means new. They have a new, different set of experiences than you do. I call these experiences generational signposts. And generational signposts are events or phenomena that are specific to one generation. Now, someone said to me, but Meagan, aren't you stereotyping or generalizing or even worse, putting people in boxes? I mean, we take a holistic approach here at Sheridan. We have a lot of ethnic diversity. We don't want to put people in boxes. We're looking at tearing walls down. Really, not all of us want to build a wall, okay? No, obviously I don't want to stereotype or generalize, but here's what generational signposts do. They explain how events, technologies, and the economy shape various groups of people. Clusters of people born during a certain time frame have experienced similar situations and can be differentiated from other generations. For example, baby boomers, Gen Xers. Is there anybody out here that had a paper route when you were a kid? Anybody have a paper route when they're a kid? Okay, several, okay, quite a few of them. So hold your hands up again, just one more time, because I didn't get it. Right here in the center with the black sleeveless top on. Your name is Nicole? You had a paper route? How old were you? Yeah, when you had the paper route. 7? Okay, was it a route in the morning or the afternoon? In the afternoon, so you'd come home from school, Nicole, and you'd deliver the papers. Okay, she was 7 years old. Perfect, thank you, Nicole. How many of you today receive a newspaper? Raise your hands, all right? And you receive the paper copy, not the digital copy. Hold your hand up, and it comes to your house, and it's delivered by a 7-year-old. No, who delivers your paper? An adult. They drive by in the car, and if you're standing out there, they aim it at you. What's my point? My point is that Nicole had a generational signpost that taught her time management skills, money handling skills, customer service skills. Well, that generational signpost is gone. And that's true of all of us. No matter where we fall in the generational timeline, we all have generational signposts that change, evolve, and dissolve. And that's where, oops, I didn't mean to go there. That's where conflict occurs. Now, I was lucky enough to speak to several of you before coming here today, and I asked, how has education changed? And what I heard a lot of people say, well, with technology. I mean, the tools you use to do your job have changed. So just like the tools you use to do your job have changed, the expectations of generations change. Some of you may still have this cassette. And that's my goal in our time together, because it's not about alienating one generation for the other. It's about how can we incorporate all the generations. Now, I was lucky enough to speak to Mark Richard. Mark, where are you? Where's Mark? Right there. Oh, there's Mark. Give Mark a round of applause. And I asked Mark if it was okay if I quoted him, and he said if I had to. But Mark said this to me, and I thought this was just hit the nail on the head. Mark said, I want students to recognize they are learning beyond just us. We need to listen to our students because they are kind of brilliant. And yes. And that's what I want to do. Every generation brings a piece of brilliance here to Sheridan. How can we help that brilliance shine? I do want to let you know that I'd like to keep in touch with all of you after today is over. After my presentation, I have a generational decoder card that the powers that be are going to make available to you. I'm not sure if they're going to have them outside or put them in your mailbox, but it has all my contact information, so I'd love to stay in touch with you. Please connect with me either electronically or on the social media scene. All right. Nicole, right? Nicole, I have a copy of my book for you, and when we're done, I will make sure that it's up here on the stage for you. Give Nicole a round of applause. Baby boomers. These are people born between 1946 and 1964. Baby boomers, one more time, raise your hands. Wave to each other, baby boomers. Look at all the baby boomers in the room. This generation is huge. In 1964, Time magazine named baby boomers the man of the year. They said baby boomers are going to clean up our cities, end racial discrimination, and find a cure for the common cold. Inside every baby boomer, there's a kid wondering what the heck happened. This guy's just wondering what the heck happened to my pants. Keep in mind, this is what happens when weed becomes federally legal. Baby boomers keep saying it's so much stronger. No, you're just that much older. Okay, there's a myth about baby boomers. There's something we give baby boomers a hard time about, and it's not 100% accurate. Anybody want to guess at what it might be? What was it? Oh, something about the economy? Okay. Technology, that's what I'm looking for, technology. We give baby boomers grief about technology. But I would say that probably every baby boomer here in the room uses technology, true? Yeah. In fact, millennials. I like to point out to millennials that baby boomers were the very first iPhone users. Yeah, they had iPhones before anybody. My grandmother, she comes from the traditional generation. And I came to pick up my grandmother to go out to dinner, and she was having her evening cocktail. She actually came to hear me speak recently. I'm so excited. She sat right up front. And when it was all over, I rushed up to her and said, well, Grandma, what'd you think? She said, well, she said, I heard that story you told about me. I said, what about it? She said, you made me sound like a lush in front of all those people. So I promised my grandmother I'd point out to every audience she only has one drink. Every half hour. I showed a trick of my grandma, but I was in a hurry. And I said to my grandma, come on, let's go. And my grandmother said, let me finish my drink. And I said to my traditional grandmother, she went through World War II, the Great Depression, I said to her, just pour that drink out. You know my grandmother. She said, pour it out. She said, oh, Meg, I will not, what? Waste my drink. I said, don't worry, Grandma, we'll get you another drink at the restaurant. Let's go. She said, the restaurant? She said, oh, Meg, those are too... You do know my grandma. I said, Grandma, it doesn't matter how much your drink costs. I will buy you your drink. Just get in the car. Now, if you had said to anybody in my peer group, get into the car quickly, and if you do, I will buy you your drink when we arrive, they'd be in the car. Now, my grandma just stood there. She stood there and she finished her drink. Now, I love my grandmother, and I got irritated. And you know, the reason I got irritated is because my expectation of her behavior was based upon my generational signpost. So can you imagine, you have all these baby boomers living in a world that had been created by the traditional generation. And so what baby boomers began to do during the late 60s and the early 70s is baby boomers really began to challenge and question the rules. And during the late 60s and the early 70s, a lot of baby boomers had pharmaceutical assistants. Some had more than others. This is actually a picture of my two favorite baby boomers, my mom and dad. Yeah, that's my dad wearing a flowered blouse. And that's my mom sitting in the corner. What I love the most about this picture is that my entire adolescence, my mother told me she never smoked. I found this photo. I said, Mom, what is that? Swear, didn't even blink an eye. She looked at it, she goes, I was just holding that for somebody else. But baby boomers were successful by challenging the rules. By challenging the rules, the job market began to open up for women. In the 50s, classified ads were separated by gender. And as the job market began to open up for women, it coincided with the pill becoming available, and the birth rate began to fall. This is where we have Generation X. People born between 1965 and 1980. Gen Xers, where are you? Oh, really? Come on, Gen Xers, where are you? We're the smallest. We're barely there. 1 in 6 is a Gen Xer. We were lucky to get a name. In fact, if this were the Brady Bunch, we'd be Jan. Nobody wants to go to prom with us. We're stuck between the cute millennial sister Cindy and the more popular sister, help me out with her name? Marsha. And Generation X were the first generation in large numbers to have both parents working outside the home. So when we came home from school, mom wasn't there, dad wasn't there, nobody was there. What do we call this phenomenon? Latchkey kids. I will tell you, I was a latchkey kid. And there's something I want to tell you about being a latchkey kid. It was awesome! Who thought this up? I mean, they'd let you out of school and the time was your own. You didn't have to hurry home. There was nobody waiting for you. We sauntered on home when we felt like it. We let ourselves right in the front door. We could let ourselves in the front door because we had our own key. Where'd we keep our key, Gen Xers? Little string around our neck. We'd walk into the house, and there sitting on the kitchen counter was a list of tasks that had been left by management. And here are the rules. The task must be completed on time. On time just means for management, management being mom and dad, are due home at 6 o'clock. So they're due home at 6 o'clock. When do we start doing those tasks? About 5:45. But it's up to me to decide. And Generation X has become our most independent generation. And they join you here at the college, and their attitude is, hey, tell me what you want done, give me the tools and training to do it, and then just get out of my way. We cannot forget about our friends, the baby boomers. The baby boomers are our teamwork generation. Baby boomers value teamwork. I mean, there are baby boomers out there that have meetings to talk about the next meeting. And then in 1968, a television producer, she asked herself this point of no return question, and that question was, what if we took learning for children and we made learning taste more like ice cream than spinach? And the answer to that question is a show that's still on the air today called Sesame Street. And Sesame Street took learning and made learning fun. And Generation X is the first generation to have an expectation beyond just a paycheck, that there's something extra, a unique experience here at work I can't have anyplace else. Now, I spoke with Sunand. Sunand, where are you? Where? Oh, right there. Yes, there he is. Sunand, am I saying your name correctly? Yes? Okay. Sunand and I were on the phone, and I asked Sunand, kind of tell me about what do you do? What's your life like there at the college? He says, oh gosh, he goes, I deal with suspension meetings, alcohol violations, reflecting on poor behavior, love triangles. I said, wow. He said, and that's just the second floor. Oh, that's what you told me not to say. I'm sorry. But he also said this about working here at the college. Management encourages you to get involved. This is my family. We care about quality and how we relate to students. There's something truly magical about what we do for students and their success. Would you give them another round of applause, please? After 1980, so what he did was he took something ordinary and he made it a little different. After 1980, the birth rate started to climb. This is where we have the millennials. Millennials, raise your hands one more time. Let's give the millennials a round of applause. And this is a generation with parental involvement. It's family time, quality time. In fact, according to a Gallup poll, 90% of millennials report being very close to their parents. 90% of millennials say, yes, I'm close to my parents. Compare that to 1974, 40% of baby boomers said they'd be better off without their parents. have never been married. 36% live in multi-adult households. They have a spending power of $200 billion a year. 80% want to work for a company that cares about the environmental impact. 80% view themselves as leaders today, even if their title does not reflect a leadership position. And 74% ranked a collaborative environment as the first or second most characteristic they look for in work. And that is why this generation has taken the traditional corporate ladder and crushed it and made a corporate lattice. And it's not about climbing the ladder. And when we say things to millennials like, you need to pay your dues to climb the ladder, that is a disconnect. It's about building your lattice, increasing your connections. Think about a lattice. A lattice has multiple connections. No one connection is more important than the other, but you need them all for a strong structure. The millennials want to talk about the relationship they have with their employer. I interviewed a guy named Adam Browers. He is a HR director for assisted living. I mean, talk about a highly regulated industry, assisted living. He said, I got rid of annual reviews. He said, because the young people that are working for me today do not care about what happened a year ago. They care about the relationship they have with their employer today. And to cultivate that conversation, he's replaced it with stay interviews. First day interview occurs within the first 60 days of employment, followed by however many stay interviews you feel are appropriate. Now, even if you're not in a management position, you can have these kind of conversations with your millennials around you. Talk about the relationship they have with Sheridan. And what these stay interviews questions do is help have a conversation. You might have somebody who's like having a frustration. It brings that frustration to the forefront. Adam said to me, we performed a stay interview with a young woman. We felt she was becoming a little discouraged. And we found out that she had a transportation issue. And by changing her hours, we were able to keep her on board. Stay interviews. Look at the high numbers of people they trust. Parents, teachers, friends all get the highest numbers of people millennials trust, followed by very low numbers, music, celebrities, and athletes. Now that doesn't mean you won't have some people on your team that will make some decisions based upon somebody's celebrity status, like this young man right here. No, you can't be Charlie Sheen for Halloween. But the big decisions that you make, the decisions that impact Sheridan College, the impact the relationships with the students, that's with the help of their trusted advisors. As their most important employee benefit, 33% of recent college grads chose training and development, but it's that last percentage I find so exciting. 98% felt that working with mentors is important. USA Today had a great article. They interviewed college professors, and in this study, college professors were dumbfounded because their students that were about to graduate college were turning in papers filled with instant message language. And in the same study, when they went back to interview the students were just as confused because they weren't even aware they were using that instant message language. And I thought to myself, wow, even the way we write to each other has changed. So for example, if somebody from the traditional generation, that's my grandmother, if somebody from the traditional generation is going to write a letter to Tom Smith, how is someone from the traditional generation going to start that letter? Dear Mr. Smith or Dear Tom Smith? How's the baby boomer going to start that letter? Dear Tom. How is the Gen Xer going to start? Hey, Gen Xers, let's go with Tom. How's the millennial going to start that letter to Tom Smith? Hey, dude, what's up? T? They're not even going to write a letter. But they will send you a what? Text? Text says, I'm too hot for you. And now they don't even send you a text of letters and numbers, they send you a text full of what? Emojis. My emojis got kind of distorted, but that's a little you there at the end. Get it? I'm too hot for you. Yeah. You realize it would take less time to write out the entire sentence with punctuation than to find the right emoji. What's my point? My point is that sometimes we discount the ideas, the enthusiasm that the talented millennials are bringing to Sheridan today because their skill set stems from a different set of skills than we had at that age. Hey, just because it worked before doesn't mean it's going to work this time. So just because it's the way you've always done it doesn't necessarily mean it's got to be the way you do it today. You say, but Meagan, as free thinking as we want to be, we encourage a holistic approach. We're still a college. We still have rules to follow. Well, and I know you've gone through a lot of change lately, and sometimes change can be tiring. So you got a millennial who wants to move it, change it, flip it, turn it, make it bigger, make it brighter, make it faster. Rather than saying no, ask yourself these 4 questions. Whatever they want to try, whatever they want to do, does it negatively impact cost, quality, safety, or service? Does it negatively impact cost, quality, safety, or service? If the answer is no, that's your little red flag to say, let's do something different. This is important because the millennials want to challenge the old ways of doing things, and they believe that an organization should be judged not just on the money it makes, but on the difference it makes in society. I spoke with Enrique. Where's Enrique? Well, I hear a voice. Oh, up there. Oh, Enrique, did you buy the cheap ticket? You're up there. Okay. And Enrique, you're going to graduate this year, right? Excellent. Give Enrique a round of applause. Enrique said this to me. He said, I think your values should be aligned with the company you work for. I want my work to be meaningful and appreciated. I want to know there is purpose beyond just the task that is helping and impacting people. This may be a lot to ask for. I have a good friend who has a good paying job and he is miserable because he does not feel appreciated. At the end of the day, it is not the money that matters, but the impact you create. I was in let me do a little time check. How am I doing on time? I'm checking at the powers that be. How much time have I got? 70 minutes? Really? 7-0? No. 2? Oh, I have some vacation photos I wanted to show you. I was in the car with my father. A song came on the radio called Love the One You're With. Have you heard this song, Love the One You're With? Yes. It came on the radio. I told my dad, I said, turn it up. I love this song. He said, really? He said, what do you like about it? I said, I like the message it sends. He said, well, what do you think the message is? I said, well, the line in the song, if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. I said, what that means is if the one that you love dumps you, which could happen, gotta love the one you're with. And the one you're with is yourself. No love triangle. You gotta love yourself first. I said to my dad, that's what the song is about. It's about self-empowerment. He said, that's not what the song's about. And after he told me what the song was about, I said, that's disgusting. Because it does not matter how old you are, there are certain things you never want to hear your mom or dad say. I said, here's the difference, Dad. You grew up with that cornball slogan, free love. Spare me. Gen Xers, we grew up in the 80s. There was no such thing as a free lunch, much less free love. But millennials, they don't even need to see you face to face to communicate because they feel comfortable using technology. And for the first time in history, we have a younger generation that knows more about something we need to know. We'll bring a brand new computer home. We'll call our kids over. We'll point to the computer. We'll say to our kids, okay, how do you install the parental controls? Okay, hey, AV people in the back, would you bring up that slide that we talked about? Bring up that slide that we talked about, please. AV people in the back. All right, since this is Sheridan College, we couldn't do this without having a test. Let's get that slide up there that we discussed, people in the back. There it is, all right? You gotta have a test, right? Is it on the test? And this test is called, Do You Know Your Dean? Are we ready? Okay. Who's this? Oh, okay. I kind of thought maybe it was Willis, remember? Wichita, not Willis, what was the other one? From fact, it was different strokes. The one that died. Kind of has a, what you talking about, Willis? Right? But no, it is Maria. Round of applause. This person with the green, that was supposed to be an arrow. You guys in Canada do it all different. This is supposed to be an arrow. Right there. Any guesses? Dave. Round of applause. Guesses? Ronnie. Look at this picture though. I mean, the smile, it's the same. It's like the same, like kind of turn of the head. So, I was like, if you just looked at the smile, you would know it was her. That baby, that looks like a baby on a can of baby food. So darn cute. And last one. It looks like kind of a sad baby, like where'd the water go? Thought we were going swimming today. All right, final person I want to quote is Mark. Mark, I know you pointed me out. Where'd you go, Mark? Where'd Mark go again? Mark, there you are. Mark and I are on the phone, and he actually quoted a student to me. Her name is Jermaine. Did I say her name? And does anybody know Jermaine? Yes. All right. And this he said this to me. This is what Jermaine said. I learned the importance of loving the question. The answer is a comfort zone. I do not want to feel comfortable. I do not want to be comfortable. I want to fall in love with living my way to the answer. Oh my God. So eloquent. And that's what I hope we all do, is that we all fall in love with finding our way to the answer as we continually question how can we serve students in a more effective, authentic, truly holistic way. Thank you very much. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful school year. Thank you.